Hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about loops, and I am in our new our new development environment here in Replit. So I've created one, and you can go and find this under the JavaScript folder inside the loops folder, and it's called demonstrating loops. So by default, Replit gives us an index HTML. That's the sort of default starting point of a website. A script.js and a style CSS. And we'll see that, of course, script is linked out to that file with this script source equals. So it's going to pull that in. And if I want to take advantage of that fact that other things happen, let's do a defer on this actually, because it might need to happen later on after everything has loaded. So it comes with this link to the style sheet as well. Style.css is the href. Notice that link does an href and script does an src. And finally, it gives you a title of the replit. I'm going to change that title to loops demo 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in a header of loop demo 1. And that's really all that I need, because the rest of this I'm going to do either in the console or in alerts and such. So I can come on over to scripts, and let's say that I want to display in the console, I think, so that we don't have to click OK a bunch of times in the console, I want to display a count from 1 to 10. So if I want to do that directly, I would have to say 1. And then I could speed this up a little bit by going 9, 10, right? And then I'd have to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Siri trying to be helpful over there on the side. I'll have to hide that during the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and have that pop on out to another window. This I've found is the easiest way to run these things. And I'm going to inspect. This is where I can see my console. And it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is a complaint that I don't have a favicon in there. Or a favicon, depending on how you want to say it. So anyway, this is a lot of code to do something really simple, and would become ridiculous if I wanted to go to 100 or 1,000, and would be virtually impossible if I wanted to do it based on user input. So there's a thing in all programming languages called loops, and they allow you to run the same set of code a bunch of times, and you can include in that code things that adjust for wherever you're at. So the first one we're going to take a look at is a while loop. So a while loop has this syntax. I'm going to put this in a comment. While Boolean expression, and then between the, I don't want that. There we go. Between here we get our code to run. And of course we put that on multiple lines. Okay? So that Boolean expression, of course, is anything that evaluates to true or false, and if it evaluates to true, this code will run, and then it'll come back and try again, and it will run until that expression stops being true. So the most basic way to handle this is with a Boolean variable. Var should continue equals true, while should continue. I could console.log something. 1, for instance, right? Now that wouldn't be very useful, because right now what this would do is create an infinite loop that would just keep on typing out 1. So I need some kind of a variable to control this a little bit. So I'm going to say var counter equals, we'll start at 1 for the sake of that. I'm going to console log now my counter, and then I need to add 1 to counter remember we've got that shortcut operator, counter plus plus is the same as saying counter equals counter plus 1. Okay. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to come back to loops demo and I'm going to reload it. Oh, and we have crashed. Oh, because I never changed what counter should be. So this is an infinite loop, and Command C, have I completely crashed? Oh, it let me close. Good, good, good. So then I could say if counter is greater than or equal to 10, then should continue equals false. So this structure where some condition changes that Boolean variable to false is really common, especially if you want that condition to be based on user input. So right now I'm basing it on just the counter, and I can I'll show you a better way to do that if you're just relying on the counter in a moment. So now that we've actually got it locked in, we will, this is the right place to be. Now that we've got this locked in, we'll go ahead and try it out again. We'll launch that. We will inspect, and we'll look at our console, and we'll see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why didn't we get 10? Well, let's take a look at the code. I print it, then I add 1 to it, and then I check to see if it's greater than or equal to 10. So when it's 9, it becomes 10, and then it stops. So I'm going to say greater than 10, and that should control us a little bit better. Not used to coding in a browser. Here we go. There we go, and we got 10. So I'm going to show you another way to do this. We can use comparisons in here as our Boolean expressions, of course. So I can say while counter is less than or equal to 10, because I want it to print when it is 10, I no longer have to do any of this. I just print it out, add 1 to it, and this condition takes care of it. So now I don't need this line either. Command / is a shortcut to comment out a line or multiple lines. I can comment all of these with a command / and uncomment them with the same thing. Okay, or control / on a Windows or Chromebook probably. So I reload, and it does the exact same thing. The nice thing about this is I can change it to 100 really quickly just by changing that value. Okay, so that is while loops. There's also a statement, a break statement, that you can use where if you want to exit a while loop, you can say break. So if counter equals 10, then I'm going to break. And then down here outside my while loop, I'm just going to console.log done, so we know that we've reached that point. So I come over here, I run it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, done. And again, it didn't go to 10 because it reached 10 and then did break, and it never got to print that 10. Okay? So I can also say, there's also a statement called continue. So I can say if counter equals 6, then continue. And we'll take a look at what that does. Oh, of course that fails because what's happening is it gets to 6, it continues, and it stays at 6 forever. So we gotta close that tab again. We'll fix it. Counter plus plus. If it equals 6, we're going to counter plus plus and continue. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and print it out and add 1. So we'll pop that one out again. Loop demo, inspect, to the console, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice there's no 6 here. So what continue does is says, oh, skip the rest of the code in this loop and go back up to the top. All right. So we've got a while loop, we've got continue, which automatically puts it back up at the while statement and skips the rest of the code from that point on. break kicks us out, and then we've got our curly braces to define that block of code. So that's a while loop. I'll do for loops in a separate video.